I felt insecure to share this, but hopefully it might relate. For a year, I've struggled with my routine. Throughout my first year of college, my routine went through shit. I stayed up at 3 a.m. I woke up and checked Telegram, binge ate every day just so that I could book up. And the crazy part, I lost all my energy. But it wasn't this. It was a lack of purpose. It was the pressure that I felt all my life. All these echoes and voices inside my head haunting me at night. Oh, you're a self-improvement artist. Oh, I'll take your future wife. Oh yeah, stop eating carbs, you little pussy. I wasn't who I was 2 years ago. And I was living up to someone who didn't really give any fucks about who I am. Pedestalizing a man who has no idea who I am. Sure, he's changed my life to stop being a bitch, stop being a pussy, to stop playing video games. And yes, he's taught me how to be a better man, but you know the rest. But I needed to leave him, right? I needed to leave that person because I've outgrown him, right? And I couldn't relate to him anymore. But we had different paths. He wanted a crazy life. I don't. I'm not in the stage for living the whole crazy life years. I wanted to get my shit together. And that part ain't enough for me. I once thought that I can't just live without these people who did make a huge benefit in my life, but sometimes they begin to evolve, they begin to change. And it's hard for me to kind of like, sometimes I feel like I'm married to that person or I'm married to these kinds of people, you know, these role models that I've always looked up to. But yet some people need to leave, right? People aren't meant to be forever. When people stay, they stay stagnant. I know it sucks to lose a mentor or a role model because you don't want to make that same mistake again, right? But sometimes that person isn't meant for you in this season. They may be part later on in the future when you begin to come back, but maybe that's not the time yet. Maybe you need to find someone better. You outgrow them. And it's not your fault because you've matured. So here are the 3 lessons I've learned from this experience so you don't have to feel lost or you don't have to feel alone and wonder how it is not normal. Because I asked so many of my friends or so many people in my network and I asked them, is this normal for this to happen? Guess what? They say, oh, it's not normal. Oh, it's not normal for this to happen. And this is why it gets a little scarier because you begin to tell everyone else in your whole world, like, oh yeah, is this normal that this thing is happening? Is this normal that that thing is happening? They actually tell you, oh, it's not normal. And you begin to panic and you be like, holy fuck, what is going on? What is literally going on right now? So first of all, just watch this, listen to what I'm going to say because maybe you might relate. And trust me, it is normal for stuff like this to happen where you have to just find someone else, leave someone else and find someone who, you know, kind of has given you so much value in life. So that's really it. So first things first, let's get right into it. So lesson number 1, you can't borrow purpose, you have to build it. Ever looked up to someone who, you know, you idolize and you treat that person, him or her, like a god, right? You copy your role model and you imitate his or her detail. You begin to choose an interest that doesn't interest you. The problem is that you begin to just lose who you really are, but the only solution is that you have to limit your inputs. You have to spend some time on yourself. You have to go on a walk, you have to go journey, you have to think about what you really talk about a lot, right? You have to look at your YouTube, watch history, and from there on you will find your true purpose. Right. Lesson number 2, leaving someone behind is not bad. It's a sign of growth. Remember, having to leave someone is tough and it damn ass. And you notice this is so many times when you go into breakups, like you understand how tough it is to like just simply lose people, right? But that's normal. It's normal for people to actually having to leave into these long-term, you know, relationships, whether it's someone you look up to the most, your friends, even that for an example. I mean, I remember looking back, I've lost friends that I've been around for 6 years, 7 years, and it's so tough for me to like having to leave them. And it's so hard, it's so daunting. And I've always felt this way every single time, right? And it really damn is because you realize just how leaving those kinds of people that you met for years, almost a fucking decade, can damage your growth. But it can often be backwards, you know, sometimes you kind of feel guilty for just losing someone, the results, the memories, and the best time that really worked like a charm, and it did, but you notice a pattern. The person you look up to has changed. You can't fucking relate to that person anymore, whether it's their mindset, their thinking, their emotions, as if the person really has lost some sort of connection with you and they forget those memories. And sometimes maybe there's going to be a point that person might forget who you are or might forget your name, and you begin to just simply lose respect for that person because that person forgot who you are, forgot your name, and you lose the emotional connection you've had with that person that you really love or that you really care the most. But when you're stuck with that person, or when you stick with that person so comfortably for like, let's say 2, 3, 4, for 5 years, and that person has struggled to change, or that person has changed and just really left you off the dust, it just doesn't really, you know, value you very well, you struggle to grow, you struggle to adapt, and yet you begin to stagnate. You watch others succeed and you wonder, oh yeah, fuck my life, and you begin to live in this conscious regret that I wish I could have done this whole thing earlier, wish I could have just switched from one thing to another earlier, I wish I could have left that person before. And it's tough to live in, but it's not your fault because as humans we're wired to feel love, we're conditioned to feel love, and you understand this from you know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Because when no one is around, you marry yourself to that person, and it's normal. You see this all the time in relationships, you see this all the time in friendships. But here's the kicker, and there's one key lesson, is that everything is temporary, and the hard part to swallow is that you need to move on, and that's really how it is in life. And I know it's so tough because you look at all the pictures, you look at all the archives, you look at all the videos you made. And I remember when I look back on my old videos, I remember I lost almost all these friends I used to play Minecraft with. I still have contact with some of these people, but it feels kind of tough that I lost some of these people, right? But sometimes I need to actually let go of them in order for me to move on, because you have to understand these guys won't be there for me forever, and these guys have moved on and had their own opinions, they had their own worldviews, and probably our values don't really align very well, and that's why we have to move on. That's why we have to go part ways, because of that reason, right? Lesson number 3. Healing starts when you take control of your life. Going through a tough breakup and going through having to be in a stage of loneliness is daunting. And having to be alone for a long period of time is tough. And I've been there before. You begin to feel, you begin to stay home for months. You go into extensive periods of monk mode, and here's the kicker, here's the problem, you sacrifice your social life for the sake of it. You disappear for 2 years, not ever seeing your friends, and yet you look back as if you just begin to regret it. But what if that's the only way? What if that's the only way, or the only possible solution in order to grow? Well, it damn fucking is, because healing begins when you let go of the past. When you let go of the vampires crawling into your sleep, you begin to feel holy. You no longer have to see your old friends. You no longer have to touch old fragments of the past, and it's you. And it's point where you have created a new world for yourself. You've done a soft reboot in your life. Old friends are gone. You disappear for a long time, and having to let go is the only thing. The lesson: you grow. In order to grow, you must let go, because you have to do something, right? Here's the thing, good things flow through when you have to abandon the bad. It's basically garbage in and garbage out. And that's the point that I think about every time. And this is one thing that I really spoke about this to someone else, that, every time I put on my glasses, the world feels like it's broken. It feels darker. But every time I take it off, it feels like the world is a piece of joy. The world is beautiful. And it's like I feel like a kid again every time I take off my glasses. But when I put on my glasses, the world just feels darker. And that is going to be something I'll probably discuss in a later video soon. But yeah. So thanks for watching this entire video. If you stick around, then you are one of the top 1% people, and you're actually going to succeed and you're going to make it in life. Because here's the thing, 99% of the people who clicked off this video, they don't have the attention span to read, to just simply watch this video. So I'm glad you made it, and it proved that you're really hungry for more, and it proved that you really want this so badly. So anyways, that is actually it for the video. Step 1, feel free to just show this video to someone else, whether it's your friend, your parents, your grandma, anyone else. Step 2, just feel free to like, comment, subscribe. And also, step 3, feel free to join my newsletter, which will be in the link description below. I just be writing daily emails every single day, just because that's just my daily routine. And yeah, and anyways, I hope to see you on the horizon. Peace.